Good morning, welcome to the 14th of May edition of Cervello Live. I'm director of Cervello, one of the directors of Cervello, Chris Dames. Hope you're doing well. I've been out for a run this morning. The sun is shining and the weather is hot, hopefully. It's a little bit nippy, but not too bad. Today we're going to be talking about commercial finance and why the majority of the clients that we talk to speak to a financial planner to start planning their future. So we're going to be talking in particular about those two subjects. Now, one of those, why people come and see financial planners to plan their future, I'm really knowledgeable at. The other, I know very little about. So I've invited a guest on who's an expert in this area. It's Paul. How are you, Paul?
Yeah, very good, Chris. Very good indeed. Thanks for the invite today. I appreciate that.
No worries.
Unfortunately, I haven't been out and about like you yet today, so hopefully later on.
Well, I thought I'd get the run in early, and it was weird because it's been cold over the last couple of days. I've been not going out, and then it's getting too late for me to go out because I've got busy. So I thought I'll get back in the habit by getting out early, and it's beautiful out there, and less people as well, so I can still socially isolate. So it's all good. We were talking earlier about particularly this week there being a bit more positive news around the economy. Do you want to share what's happening with that?
Oh, definitely. I mean, obviously the latest news is that the government's trying to get people back out and about in their working environment, which is fantastic. Because obviously a lot of people have been locked up for a long time. They're very frustrated. They want to get back out there. They want to get back out working. They want to see their colleagues, friends, etc. And I heard yesterday that one of the areas where people are starting to get back out is on the valuation side.
Yeah.
Obviously the government stopped house moves as such, unless it was for key workers. But there were still a lot of property purchases, whether it's residential or commercial properties in the pipeline. One of the keys to those transactions, Chris, has always been someone going out and value the property. And
yeah.
Of course, you couldn't do that with the virus scenario because no one wanted to enter a property where they might potentially catch it. So
yeah.
The news yesterday was that valuers are now starting to venture back out, which is great, and hopefully that will start to re-energise the property sector once again.
I mean,
residential and commercial, which is much needed.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important to make sure that we still sort of socially isolate because we want to make sure that there's not, we need to be careful of our health. But certainly combining that with a sort of gradual recovery of the economy is important, right? Because a recession and a sort of negative economic has an impact on people's lives as well.
Of course it does. And
yeah.
I think people are starting to learn that and realise that. And, we're going to come on a bit later to talk about the government funding which is available for businesses. But, the knockdown on that is, if those businesses later on can't pay those loans back, it's going to be covered by the government, which in turn is going to mean taxes are going to have to go up. Whether it be normal income tax, VAT, national insurance. Someone pays for it if those loans go into default. So
yeah, well, I've got a feeling you might see taxes improve anyway. You just want to make sure that it doesn't go up too much. But thanks for that, Paul. We'll be talking to you a little bit in a bit more depth around commercial finance and if people are looking to borrow commercially, what they need to consider. Before we do that, I just want to talk about a couple of elements in terms of the what people need to consider when they come and have a conversation with a financial planner. And what I'm going to do, a lot of times, either people come to us a little too late, so they want to make a change in their life within the next year, or they find themselves in a position where they assume what we do is all about product when actually it's a lot about planning. And what I want to do is highlight the 6 questions we help our clients answer the most. Because some of the questions might be expected for you and some of the questions might be a bit of an insight into why you might need a financial planner, somebody might need a financial planner, and help you understand how we can add value. One really important thing, and I agree with Paul actually, what we saw in lockdown is people having a more immediate focus, like how am I going to get through this matter of weeks? What we're seeing now, especially as you've seen those sort of a transition and a move back to business as usual, even if it takes a few months, is people now having a longer term focus again and saying, what do the next 3 to 5 years look like in my life? And certainly as financial planners, our job is to make sure that that people do that. So a couple of things that I just want to talk about. I want to talk about the 6 questions we help our clients answer the most, and I want to talk about how we answer those questions. The question we ask the most, and this isn't a question people come to us immediately with, but the question we answer the most, and actually it's one of the most important questions to ask generally, is if you're approaching retirement, you're 50 to 55, and you've built wealth, and you're in a position now where you're thinking about making a change in your life, is will I ever run out of money again? Now, a lot of people don't know the answer to that. A lot of people have found themselves in a position where they've accumulated wealth accidentally through work or intentionally through building a business and building assets. But the answer is the big unknown is, have they got enough to make a change in their life they might want to make? Now, that doesn't mean to say give up work, because a lot of our clients actually see retirement, pipe and slippers, gold watch, sitting on your sofa every day as a bit of a as not an ideal way to live their life. I don't think anybody wants to do that. They still want challenge in their life, and that may involve an element of work. But the reality is, knowing that you've never going to run out of money again can allow you to make certain choices about your life that allow you then to say, actually, I'm going to cut down my work, or only do the bits of work that I really enjoy, or donate my time to a cause that I believe in. So all of those sort of elements are worth considering when you're thinking about, will I ever run out of money again? The reality is, most people who come and see us don't know the answer to that question. And we use tools called cash flow to help map out somebody's financial life to work out where will they ever run out of money again. Also, what we can do is help people take action. So if somebody's in a position where they will run out of money, we then look at the scenarios of how they won't. And that might mean working a bit longer, or saving a bit more whilst you're working, or spending less when you eventually sort of slow down a bit. But the reality is, all of those scenarios you need to plan for, and that's how we add value. Paul, the personal satisfaction I get when I get the opportunity to tell somebody you will never run out of money again, based on all the assumptions we've used, is amazing, and I certainly like that part of the job. That's a really good part of the job. Second part we help with as a business is helping people get financially organised, because as I say, when people have worked all their life, and whereas previous generations may have had one job with a pension and their financial situation's really simple, more and more often now people don't have one job. They have a range of different careers. They might have started a business, they may be self-employed, and they may have had previous jobs. Our job is to help them get organised and take the pain away, because sometimes dealing with financial firms can be quite a painful process. Our clients are busy in their own lives and don't want to be in a position where they're spending their valuable time, because time is the most valuable commodity, chasing people to get answers to questions. So our job is to take bags of paperwork of all these documents, consolidate it into a plan that a client's going to understand, but effectively work with a client to say, we have now got you organised, and we've got up-to-date information on everything you've got, and this is how how it fits into the plan. I don't know about you, Paul, but I think certainly if you've got expertise in an area, and one of our areas of expertise is speaking to investment and pension providers, it can save you so much time to employ a professional to do that than try and do it yourself. And I'm pretty sure that you get the same experience when dealing with lenders, right?
Oh, very much so. It's obviously with lenders and commercial borrowings, it's very similar to, I suppose, something like moving a house. How often does someone move house during their lifetime? It is very, very limited. And again, with commercial borrowing, how often does someone actually go back to their bank on a regular basis when you're borrowing? I appreciate on occasions it might be quite often, but in the main it might only be once every 2 or 3 years. And, you know, whereas I've got a background working in a high street bank for almost 40 years, obviously I know that side.
Yeah.
Mechanics, how it operates, how it works. And yeah, people can do it themselves, but it's about saving time, potentially saving money, taking technically the pain and the strain away from a customer trying to do it themselves.
But I mean,
it's like building an extension. If I wanted to, with the help of some mates, I could probably do it. But do I want to do it? The answer is no.
Absolutely right. You know what? I don't think Cassie would let me anywhere near an extension. She won't even let me near the IKEA kit that we get every now and again. But certainly, taking that pain, hassle and stress away, the challenge you've got sometimes is people, particularly when it comes to financial planning, people just ignore it. And literally what you're doing then is moving away from potentially the life you want to live, because just trying to deal with it is just too frustrating. So we can help take that pain away. Next thing the question we answer the most is, are my family going to be okay if the worst were to happen? Now, certainly, if you're anything like me, family's important. It's the reason that I run the business the way that I do. It's the reason I get up in the morning. It's important to me to be a good role model for my children. But it's also important to me to make sure that if I'm not around, financially they're going to be okay. So one of the things we do help with is making sure that in the event of death, serious illness or long-term sickness, we make sure that our clients know their families are going to be okay, and certainly take that worry away. And also, a lot of our clients have built up assets and don't want those assets to go to the taxman, particularly if they've got decent enough estates. So that part of our job is to make sure that if there is an inheritance tax liability on that estate, we try and reduce it in legitimate ways, and plan it as well as possible. So that's part of what we do, and that's the question we answer. Also, how do I ensure that on my death my money goes to the people that I want to? Now, I want to share one really practical tip here. If you've got pensions, there's something you can do for free that you should do on every single one of your pension schemes. What you should do, if you've not got a financial planner, you can do it yourself. If you have, approach a financial planner to do it on your behalf. But there's a document that you can complete that effectively lets the pension trustees know who you want that money to go to in the event of your death. Sometimes we miss the simple things, and just making sure that your money goes to the right place and it goes to the people you want to, people miss. So part of our job is to make sure that we understand what people want to achieve, both over the longer term and in the event of death, but also make sure that all the practicalities are in place. And that form you can get from your pension provider. And also, we spoke about it on a previous edition of Cervello Live, is get a will done. You know, low cost, certainly something that we recommend to all of our clients, and keep that will updated and reviewed to make sure that you're in a position where you do that. Now, our role as financial planners in that process is to make sure that people have done it, nudge them in the direction of just some of these really practical actions that people haven't got round to, and ensure that we're in a position where we support people to do that. The next question we help our clients answer is, can you help me with some large financial decisions I'm facing? So typically, we have clients approach us who are getting made redundant, who are thinking about stopping work, who are buying commercial property and need to make sure their families are protected in the event of their death. Typically people come to us to support their thought process with good financial decision making. Interestingly, Paul, I mean, one of the things that we didn't talk about, apart from taking ours away and all the great stuff that we both do for our clients, is just being a third-party sounding board to make sure people are making good decisions, and I'm sure that you do that a decent amount too.
Yeah, very much so. It's not all about just finding the right deal from at the right time. It's about helping and supporting them through the longevity of their business career, to be honest with you. I'm not here to be a transactional type of financer for them. It's I suppose because my background is in a bank, it's almost like being a quasi bank manager again, but with a lot more lenders behind me, Chris.
Yeah, but it's about the relationship, isn't it? And making sure that you support that client to make the right decisions. And then next on the list is, how do I get the right balance between living now and saving for tomorrow? So certainly when I'm working with clients, the best job that I can do is with the longest time frame. So typically clients approach me between 2 to 3 years before wanting to make a change with their life, and that might be stopping work or starting a business or making some of those big financial decisions. Some people come to me 2 months before they intend to make that decision. But the longer I've got in terms of helping our clients develop, build and focus on a goal, the better I can do. And certainly one of the things that we're going to be focused on over the next 6 months to a year at Cervello is helping more people achieve that goal and start earlier, because time, when it comes to financial planning, is one of the biggest assets you've got, particularly when it comes to compound interest, building the assets you've got, investing early, and starting the process as soon as you can. So hopefully that was useful. The idea of these live streams is so that we can also make sure that we can help you with any financial questions. The good news about our business is that I've worked really hard over the 11 years we've been running to build a really good network of professionals that I trust to answer any question you might have. So if you're in a position where you've got a financial question and you don't feel comfortable asking it live, don't. Send me a direct message and I'll be happy to help. It may not be me who deals with it, but I'll know somebody who can answer that question. So feel free to ask any questions you need to, either on the live or by sending me a message. So that was really good, and thanks for everybody who's watching live. One other thing that I was going to mention was that we've got all of these on YouTube now, coming out. So if you like any of the previous episodes, or you want to sort of look back and see what you've missed, you can get access to every single one on YouTube and do that. In particular, Paul, we had Helen, who was the Financial Education Teacher of the Year quite recently, and we were in a position where I think I might be watching that one back just to learn how to homeschool a bit better.
Chris, it's very good.
Very good. Okay, Paul. Just so we can understand a bit more about you. Tell me about you and your business.
Yeah, by all means. Background-wise, this will give my age away. I actually started working for a high street bank in the late 70s. Started as most people did in those days as a tea boy. And clearly, once they saw I couldn't do that, I got moved up through the ranks and first became a manager back in the early 90s, which is when I really started working with business customers in full, to be honest with you. Then worked and continued my career through various different roles in the business and commercial banking sector. And I've left the bank in 2016 when I was a commercial relationship manager, looking after slightly larger businesses with, I suppose, turnover between 5 and 50 million, Chris. But I've seen the whole string of clients from the one-man bands, the small startups, right the way through to the larger concerns. And then in 2016, I had a decision to make. I had an opportunity which I thought was fantastic. I was given the chance for redundancy. It took a little while to debate that one with the family, but in the end I thought, you know what, I've always fancied my own business. This gives me the chance. It gives me the chance for a second career and to try working out in the real world, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting, isn't it? How long did it take you to make the choice to go from a corporate career to starting your own firm?
I think all told, I was given probably 3 to 4 weeks, but it was one of those things that obviously I spoke to the family about, and the consensus was that it would be best if I stayed working for a large organisation. I had some health issues in the background, so that was obviously the safer route. And then on the closing day, Chris, something upset me. I emailed the boss, said, can I have one of those forms to apply for redundancy? Put the redundancy notice application in, and then of course had to come home and tell the family, Chris.
You know what? It's weird. I had a similar conversation with Cassie. I mean, I'm going back sort of 11 years now, nearly 12 actually. But I had a similar conversation with Cassie, and Charlotte, who's now 16, who's acting as technical support on this particular podcast. She's sitting out of shot. Said to me, like she was 6, and I said, "Oh, Daddy's going to start his own business," and Charlotte started crying, and I was like, "Oh right, okay." And I said, "What's the matter, darling? This is good news. This could be a really good positive thing," because I was the same as you. At the time, I worked for AXA, so quite a large, secure organisation, and she looked at me and said, "Daddy, if you're leaving your job, who's going to pay for the holidays now?" And I didn't know what to say, genuinely.
Brilliant, yeah.
Yeah. So tell me who you typically work with.
Well, typically, since I took redundancy, I bought a franchise and now operate under the banner of Synergy Commercial Finance. And, you know, there's 2 key differences now from when I was working at the bank, Chris. When someone goes to the bank to borrow money, they obviously see, if they can, their bank manager, who obviously is employed by the bank, and they will recommend a loan or an overdraft or whatever from their own bank.
Yeah.
Now, because I'm out in the real world, I work for the client, I don't work for the lender. And more importantly than that, I've got access to in excess of 200 lenders, Chris. And it's quite mind-blowing actually being outside of what is available to customers, which when I worked for the bank, I just didn't appreciate. And it's very, don't get me wrong, banks are there for a purpose, they provide a great role, but and for reasons I understand, they're risk adverse. They've got to be. Lenders out there, they will take more of a risk, take more of a punt on customers, which we need in this world.
Yeah.
But now, I suppose, you know, I work with anyone and everyone who's looking to borrow money, and that can be, as I mentioned earlier, from the small business person who maybe wants some asset finance for a vehicle, or maybe to renovate their shop, through to bridging loans, commercial mortgages, right the way through to anyone perhaps buying a property portfolio. It's a real spectrum, and as I said earlier, you just don't appreciate until you're in the outside world what's actually available to clients.
Yeah.
And you know, despite working in the finance banking sector for all those years, I never knew what was available. So why would customers? To be honest with you.
Yeah. And as you say, I mean, I suppose banks are more risk adverse in terms of the range of finance they're prepared to offer, but most people's first port of call is their bank, right?
I couldn't agree more. Most definitely. And if the bank wants to be, Chris, it can be the cheapest source of finance.
Yeah.
And having said that, I've found on many occasions in the short period I've been doing this where I've managed to get a better deal than they were offered by their own bank. And over the term of that commercial mortgage, Chris, I've saved the client in excess of 100 grand in interest.
Amazing.
It's a significant amount of money.
Yeah.
Yeah, the bank is understandably the first port of call to go. It might not always be the right place.
Yeah.
And of course, the bank understandably doesn't always say yes.
And help me understand a little bit, because you mentioned about sort of being able to source all sorts of finance, but you are in particular a commercial finance individual. So help me understand a little bit about the difference between, I mean, what won't you do or what can't you do? Does it need to be backed by an asset? What's the fundamental difference between what you do and what somebody who does personal lending might do?
Yeah, by all means. There's two elements, I suppose. If someone wants to buy, for example, a residential property which they're going to live in, that's going to be deemed to be a regulated mortgage.
Yeah.
And you need to go to someone who's got the necessary qualifications for that. I deal with all types of unregulated borrowing. So I will not deal with a mortgage where someone's going to live in the property, although of course I've great contacts who can help those types of clients. So I deal with anything apart from the regulated types of deals. So it will be, again, it could be a property which someone is going to buy, but it's going to be on a buy-to-let basis.
Yeah.
It could be a loan for a business. So it's anything business related. It's anything that the banks can lend on a business basis. I can help the clients do the same thing, but as I said, from a source of 200 different lenders.
And just an interesting one. I mean, clearly, if you're taking out a mortgage, there's loads of information like the FCA website that you can check people out and make sure that that they've got the right regulations to deliver the advice. Certainly in our field, we're directly regulated by the FCA. When somebody's picking a commercial finance broker, due to the fact that it's not regulated in the same way, how do they make sure they're working with the right person?
I quite agree. That's a very good point, Chris. I mean, we're regulated to a degree, and our governing body is the National Association of Commercial Finance Brokers. Yep. That's the NACFB. So if people go onto their website, they will be able to find out which commercial finance brokers are around. And again, I am also on the FCA website as well.
Okay.
Because I need good broking.
Okay.
To role I'm in.
Amazing. Okay, so there's been a number of announcements in the current situation with the lockdown and the impact on economy, where governments try to support business, particularly in the form of loans. Can you help us understand about the support that businesses can access in that regard?
Yeah, of course I can. It's been quite a moving feast since it was first launched 7 or 8 weeks ago, Chris. And the first loan scheme that was launched was what's now called the CBILS, which is the Coronavirus Business Interruption Scheme loan. As I say, it has changed as time has gone on. But effectively now, it's for people who want to borrow £50,001 and above, up to £5 million worth of lending.
Okay.
The scheme that the government has put in place to help and support the businesses going forward. And whilst there's certain key parameters to it, such as, the maximum borrowing you can get under it is £5 million, maximum turnover business that qualifies is £45 million worth of turnover. And whilst it started at, I think, 40 lenders, the British Business Bank has increased that lenders now, and I think there's now about 60 on the scheme.
Yeah.
But whilst there's core criteria they have to apply to, each lender is slightly different from the point of view. Whilst there's core information that they're going to want to see from, for example, the government has requested that the businesses prove they're viable as at 2019. So the lender's probably going to want to see the latest set of accounts of the business. It's probably want to see up-to-date management information. It might want to see a business plan, etc., etc. So all the lenders under that scheme are fairly similar, but then each lender beyond that has to make their own judgment. So they have to make their own judgment on, for example, how many years they're going to lend that money over.
Yeah. And
whilst the government scheme is up to 6 years, some lenders might only do it for 3 years, Chris.
Okay, amazing. In terms,
just before, the other key thing is the interest rate, again, is governed by each lender. So some lenders might do a lower interest rate than the others.
Yeah.
And of course, the key thing under that scheme is 80% of those loans are guaranteed by the government, but the borrower still remains fully liable for the debt.
Yeah, I mean the other important thing to mention on there, Paul, is for smaller loans, there's the Bounceback loan scheme, isn't there, which is up to 25% of turnover, up to a max of £50,000, interest free for a year for businesses, and then it's capped at 2.5% after that. And certainly, I know loads of businesses who may not need the money immediately, but as just to shore up their cash, the amount they keep in the bank, have applied for the loan, and we've heard that the process is pretty simple. One of the interesting things, Paul, is even though we're a few weeks in now, the support that the government are giving is a bit of a changing feast, isn't it? Because it seems to be changing quite consistently. And I know, as you know, we work with a number of accountants. When I speak to accountants on this, they're saying, this is changing all the time. How do you keep up?
It is. I've just got a massive paperwork, where, as you rightly say, it constantly changes. And as you touched upon, which is also relevant for both types of loan, Chris, whether it be the Cervello or the Bounceback, the first 12 months, both loans are no interest, no fees, no capital repayments to make. So, even if you don't need the money, it probably makes sense just to take it as a precaution. And if need be, inside that first 12 months, you can pay it back and it won't cost you a penny.
Yeah, it makes sense to do, doesn't it? So help us understand a little bit more about how people who might need lending over and above what the government schemes are prepared to consider, what they need to think about, and how they can get access to lending they might need.
Yeah, very much so. Don't get me wrong, I've had a number of conversations with clients over the last few weeks, and I always tell them the first port of call has got to be to try and get this government funding, Chris.
Yeah.
There's nowhere else you can get money at no cost whatsoever.
Officials in England. The trust looks for antibodies in the blood stream to see whether a person may now have
a Bounceback loan scheme, as you've highlighted already. The interest rate, if you do have to start paying interest, is 2.5% fixed for the term of the borrowing. No one can ever borrow money at that rate. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic offer. But yeah, I mean, one thing people need to be aware of, I think, is the Bounceback scheme has been a lot easier to access than the Cervello scheme. And the numbers I saw yesterday, something like 268,000 loans have been agreed.
Amazing, yeah.
The Cervello risk is only 36,000.
Yeah.
But people need to be careful. If they're going for the Bounceback scheme purely because they need the money urgently, the latest information I've seen is that may well preclude them from getting Cervello's loan later on. But having said that, I know that the chairman of the National Association of Commercial Finance Brokers is lobbying the Bank of England to see if that can change, because people may have just jumped in and taken the 50 grand now, where in reality they might need more. But it's the easiest money to get hold of.
Yeah, and why does that preclude some people?
Well, it's just the way that the two loan schemes have been launched at the moment. You can only have one or the other, Chris.
Right.
I say things are being done to try and change that, but obviously you have to go back to the Bank of England and the government, etc., to get that finalised.
Right. Okay. Great. And Paul, where can people find out a bit more about you?
A bit more about me. Email address is, I'll give it out now, you give the details later on. It's fairly simple. It's paul.rogers@synergy.finance. That's paul.rogers, synergy.finance, finance. Or there is also a website for Synergy Commercial Finance. You can log on to that, which is the franchisor. And if you go down to, I'm based in Chigwell, if you go down to the UK map of Essex, you'll find me located on there with further information about me first.
And the other thing I wanted to understand a bit more about is geographically, what areas do you cover?
I mean, technically, I can cover the whole UK, especially now. If you like, the world's changed, and we've been operating from Zoom at home for the last 2 weeks. It's all about talking to people, whether it's face to face via Zoom, over the telephone, etc. Not very often do I actually need to physically go out and see people. But having said that, because I'm part of a franchise, if that is the case, I can always find another franchisee based somewhere else in the UK Chris. I say we do cover the whole UK. I think the way the whole world's moving, potentially there's going to be less and less meetings moving forward anyway.
Yeah, well, that'd be interesting. We'll hopefully we'll see how the world's going to change in the future. Thank you so much for joining us today, Paul. I really appreciate your time, and certainly there's a massive amount of insight that you've given. And apologies that we didn't get to see your amazing Zoom background as well, because literally because your head was covering it, it just didn't work, did it? And I'm still trying to get my head around trying to sort of make sure we have no technical issues throughout a live podcast, and I'm still trying to get my head around. There's always something that happens, but yeah, it's all good. Thanks again for joining us. Thank you for watching Cervello Live. We really appreciate it. If there's anything that you want us to talk about in future episodes, we're certainly happy to invite guests on that might be able to help you think about money a bit differently, and have a lovely Thursday. Speak to you soon. Bye.
All the best. Thank you. Cheers. Bye.